Hello Skyliners, welcome back to Super-Duperville, episode 41, Kaleidoscopia! This is Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming, and I thank you very much for stopping by. Today we got 4 goals ahead of us, all about Kaleidoscopia. Number 1, landscaping for Kaleidoscopia. We're going to slope the terrain, the sharp terrains, we're going to smooth those down so that I don't have any super sharp pitches in this area. Number 2, roads for Kaleidoscopia. We're going to start with the basic road layout, and then we're going to upgrade it. I'm thinking about putting the 6-lane highway in all the main roads with a bus lane, because buses are going to be our public transport for this area. Number 3, we'll lay down some water for Kaleidoscopia. And number 4, we will zone Kaleidoscopia. Alright, so like the last episode, this episode's going to be a 300% speed episode. And what we're going to start off with here is we're just going to use the softening tool and go around the area of Kaleidoscopia and try and push down some of these mounds, these drastic elevation changes. I'm just using the softening tool here. I could use the level tool and just level everything out, but I decided to go with the softening tool. So for Kaleidoscopia, this is going to be an octagon city. And as such, I need to space these things out at certain increments, similar to Zootopia, how it had the circles every period length. I got to approach this a little bit differently, though, because Kaleidoscopia is going to be set up in alternating 45-degree octagons. So the interior circle is going to be an octagon. The next ring, if you will, out, the next octagon out, is going to be turned at a 45-degree angle. So I played around with this a little bit offline to figure out how the hell am I going to put this in place and make an octagon, number 1, even spaced octagon and having even legs on each side. But also, how am I going to put them at 45-degree angles and maintain an octagon? And what I came up with was a star pattern. But not just an 8-point star pattern. That's right, a 16-point star pattern. So I tried to draw these second set of 8 legs, and coming out from the center point, I can't draw them in place, going at that 22.5 degree mark. What I am able to do is drag it out, get to exactly 22.5 degrees, and hold that point that it goes out to, and then turn around and bring that leg back into center, and you see it draws it almost to center. Now that I have 4 of the 8 legs that I need for the 22.5 degree angles, I can go ahead and draw these across. And if you didn't notice, I have Anarchy on so that I'm able to draw these across. So there you have it, super star pattern. Looks very confusing right now, but this will make sense in a little bit. So when I was drawing the straight legs, I don't know if you noticed, I stopped periodically at a certain length, going out to the 119 units in the overall length. And that was to establish this 17-unit distance to start. Here we're going to draw in our first hexagon, and you're going to see what we're doing here. So there's our first hexagon. To avoid any kind of game glitches, I'm going to delete the center arrow sections. We don't need them now. We can completely go off of the next section. So every other unit is going to be a standard stop sign type octagon. So I go out 34 units. The distance between each ring is quote unquote 17 units apart. But you'll notice here that when I go to draw the off-angle rings, I don't exactly go out 17 units. And I can't do that because if I do so, once I get to the very outside, the second from the very outside ring, or octagon. I don't know what the heck we want to call these things, but whatever. Once I get to the second to last octagon, it doesn't line up. If I start at the 17 unit point, it does not line up well. So here we got a TIE fighter looking thing. But we're going to draw in this spider web here. And you'll see what we're doing here in just a minute and why we had to draw in every single one of those legs. Right now we're skipping over every other one. But once we get to these all connected, last couple here. There we go. So there is 4 of the 7 rings that we're going to put in place. Now we need to go in and put the other rings, and what I decided to do is go out and offset these legs a little bit, and using the snapping tool I put them at 67.5 degree angles, and what that allows is to put that at that 45 degree angle ultimately. And there you go, right like that. So I offset that first leg 19 units, leaving 15 units on the other side to make up the 34 units. This next leg I go out to 21 units, leaving 13 units on the outside of that leg for the total of 34 between them. And you see how it's giving a little bit more of an even section between the two. And that's my goal. So for the last one, I have to go out a whopping 23 units. And if you follow the pattern here, so I go 17 to 19, that's 2, to 15, that's minus 4, to 21, that's plus 6, to 13, that's minus 8, to 23, that's plus 10. So is that crazy or what? To 11, which is minus 12. I saw that on paper and it was really crazy. So here we have the completed city. We're all done. No. We got to go in and remove all these extra legs now. Because I don't know if I didn't explain this, so I probably should. There's not going to be a straight leg going out of Kaleidoscopia, and that's going to be part of the challenge. We are going to make anybody that's traveling into the inner part of the city or going out of the inner part of the city, they got to take a leg up, go over, take that leg out, come back, take that leg out, go over, take that leg out, come back. It's a tedious process, but it gives the overall pattern of this city nice aesthetics, but it makes the challenge real as far as how to put this in place and make it work correctly. So you'll see here after I draw in these first inner legs here, what the pattern's going to look like jumping back and forth and how there is no straight road going straight out. There's a great shot of the first 3 sections and how they connect up. So because of the way we drew this and because we had anarchy on, some of these roads did not connect to every single section. I wanted to avoid doing that so I could get straight shots across, because a lot of these angles have odd numbers, so I can't just go to an even point and connect them up properly. It takes going past that point to the next intersection. I don't know how to describe this. I'm having trouble verbally describing what I'm actually doing on screen. But having that 16-point star pattern really makes a huge difference in being able to put this down and in place and keep everything even. An octagon is not an easy geometric design because people are typically going to draw one leg longer than the other. They think that they just go out a certain distance and then they just do a 45. And although that's true, it's not what you first perceive as the proper distance. So it takes some calculations, some mathematics to make sure that you go out and all the legs are even all the way around. And that's the point of an octagon, obviously, is to have even legs all the way around. So for this last leg, it gets a little tricky because when I back off, if I delete that last leg of the distance going through the center of that, do we call it a trapezoid? No, it's not really a trapezoid. That Oh boy, what kind of shape is that? I don't know what the heck to even call that. It's a hexagon. You know, it has 6 sides, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's only 5 sides. Okay, so it's a pentagon, I guess. But, yeah. So I have to draw these extra little legs in on each of these side roads that are going to have to be deleted for the purpose that I can delete part of this leg, maintain its angle properly, and then draw it back in after I'm done putting all these in place. It's crazy, I know. We get there, though. We'll get there eventually. So we're using a dirt road, obviously, to do the cheapest layout in case I screw something up. It's not a costly mistake in deleting these roads and bringing them back again. Took me a while to get the game going there, but we got to run in now so we can actually make up some of this money that we're burning putting the city in. Because once I start putting in the larger road here in just a second, it's going to be very costly. So before I do anything, I go around and I make sure that every intersection is an actual intersection. It gets kind of tricky dealing with roads like this, that you might get a road that's overlapped and you can't quite tell that it's overlapped and it doesn't actually form an intersection. So I take it ring by ring and I just verify each and every intersection. Rock and roll. Everything's hooked up. We're going to draw in the 2 other legs here. Now, as I mentioned at the start, I want to put in a 6-lane road with bus lanes, I think. So, I couldn't remember where it was at first, but we have this 6-lane road with bus lanes. We're just going to go ahead and upgrade everything. And remember, when you are upgrading multiple sections, if you just hold down your left mouse button, you can continue to upgrade things and it keeps it highlighted so you know exactly where you left off, and if you missed any other little sections, it shows up a lot easier with this thickly bold-faced blue line that appears here. And yes, I thought I had a logical approach to this, but really when it comes down to it, I had no rhyme or reason. I just kind of went around until everything turned blue. Sweet. So everything's upgraded. Except we don't want these outer two sections to be bus lanes. Those aren't necessary. Not that it really makes a difference, but... Next up, let's get some water in the area. So I'm just going to draw down from industry land and do our standard 22 unit distance. And take the pipes all the way out. And then I'll come back and clean everything up. Oh, hey! Get your rocks off mining company. Hit level 4. Sweet, water's in place. Now it's time to zone it out. Done and done. Just like that. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to try a little something different here. Different kind of before and after comparison. Kind of flash back and forth and let you see the before and after a little bit in a larger format instead of piling them side by side. If you like that, please let me know. If you don't like it, let me know, of course. And as always, if you are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we put out the next episode. Until then, this is Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming, and I thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one. Later, everybody.